a world where we are constantly told we need someone to love, to guide, to complete us, being alone can feel like failure. But what if being alone isn't a curse, but a blessing? What if solitude is not where you fall apart, but where you finally become whole? This is why you're better off alone. According to Buddhist wisdom, being alone does not mean you are lonely. It does not mean you are broken, forgotten, or less worthy. It simply means you are in a season of stillness. And that is not a weakness. It is an invitation. Aloneness is often where the deepest healing begins. When the noise fades, the opinions, the pressure, the expectations, something beautiful starts to rise from within. You begin to hear your own voice again. You begin to remember who you are, without the world constantly telling you who to be. In Buddhist philosophy, solitude is not something to avoid. It's something to embrace. The Buddha himself sought solitude not as an escape, but as a path to wisdom. He wandered forests, sat beneath trees, and practiced silence, not because he rejected humanity, but because he understood. True clarity, true peace, comes from within, not from others. If you find no companion worthy of your journey, the Buddha said, walk alone, like an elephant roaming in the jungle. Sometimes, life separates you from people you once held close. It may feel like loss, but it is often a sacred redirection. Life isn't punishing you. It's preparing you. It clears the path, removes distractions, and places you in solitude, so you can finally meet yourself fully. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay, and not everyone who leaves is your loss. Sometimes, people walk away without explanation. Sometimes, they betray your trust, or slowly disappear when things get hard. And while it may hurt at first, their departure is not a punishment. It's a revelation. People who leave you without a fight were never truly for you. They were passing chapters, not the whole story. And their exit is a lesson, not a reflection of your worth. The Buddha taught, when you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for what truly matters. You see, we often chase after those who no longer see our value, hoping to fix what was never whole to begin with. But clinging only deepens the pain. It attaches your peace to something or someone that was never meant to carry it. Letting go is not bitterness. It is not weakness. It is the courageous act of choosing yourself. It is saying, I will not beg to be seen. I will not shrink to be accepted. I will walk forward, even if it means walking alone. Their silence is not your failure. Their distance is not your burden. It is your freedom, a clearing of the path so something more aligned can enter. In a world filled with noise, constant opinions, notifications, distractions, silence has become rare and sacred. But it's in silence that you begin to truly hear, not the voices around you, but the one within. In stillness, your mind settles. Your patterns reveal themselves. Your truth, once buried under busyness, begins to rise to the surface. Buddhist wisdom teaches that silence is not emptiness, it's clarity. It's a mirror. It reflects back to you who you are when no one is watching and no one is influencing. When you embrace solitude and quiet, something beautiful happens. You stop living in reaction. You begin to live with intention. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. You don't need to prove yourself to the world. You don't need validation from a crowd. You only need to sit with yourself long enough to remember your worth. In silence, you rebuild your energy. You sharpen your focus. You reconnect with your values. And slowly your actions begin to reflect your inner truth, not your past, not your wounds, not the opinions of others. You don't need everyone to like you. You only need to be aligned with yourself, steady, grounded, and aware. That's the real power, the kind that doesn't shout, but endures. True strength isn't forged in applause. It doesn't bloom under the spotlight. It's born in quiet moments when no one is watching and no one is clapping. It's in the silent nights, when you choose discipline over distraction, when you keep going, even when doubt whispers louder than hope. It's in the private pain, the heartbreak you endured without anyone noticing, the breakdowns that became breakthroughs, the mornings you got up, even when your soul felt heavy. These quiet victories shape you more than any praise ever could. Buddhism teaches us that the path to awakening is walked alone, not because we're meant to suffer, but because solitude reveals who we truly are beneath the masks, the noise, the attachments. Every scar you carry, every tear you've wiped away in silence, is not weakness, it's evidence, proof of your resilience, of your rebirth. So if you're walking through a season of solitude, remember, you're not falling behind. You're building strength no one can take from you. You cannot grow in the same soil that poisoned you. No matter how much love you gave, how much effort you put in, if the environment is toxic, it will slowly erode your peace. Leaving is not weakness. It's not bitterness. It's choosing to honor your worth. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that clinging to suffering, to relationships, jobs, or situations that no longer serve our growth, only prolongs pain. Letting go, however painful, is the beginning of healing. You are not obligated to stay in spaces that drain your spirit. Sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do, for yourself and others, is walk away, not with anger, but with clarity. You're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to protect your energy. You're allowed to choose peace over chaos, even if it means walking alone for a while. Because freedom doesn't come from being accepted by others. It comes from accepting that you deserve better. So don't fear the silence that follows your exit. That silence may be the first sound of real peace. Not every ending is a punishment. Sometimes it's a redirection, a clearing of the path so something greater can grow. In Buddhist wisdom, the lotus, one of the most sacred symbols, doesn't bloom in clean water. It rises through mud, darkness, and struggle, and only then opens into beauty. What feels like rejection may be protection. What feels like isolation may be preparation. You're not being abandoned. You're being refined. Pain often arrives just before awakening. We tend to resist these endings. We grieve them. We try to hold on. But in letting go, you create space for something new. New strength, new clarity, new peace. In solitude, you begin to hear the soft voice of your own soul. A voice that was drowned out by noise, by people, by expectations. And that voice will guide you, not back to who you were, but forward into who you're meant to become. This is the process of spiritual rebirth. It's not loud, it's not easy, but it is sacred. And it always begins in silence. There comes a moment in your journey when you stop asking, "Will they accept me?" and start declaring, "I accept myself." You've spent too long shrinking your spirit to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. Too long waiting for others to choose you, validate you, rescue you. But here's the truth. You were never broken. You don't need fixing. You need remembering. Remembering who you are. Remembering your worth. Remembering that your peace is not up for compromise. Stop lowering your standards just to make others feel comfortable. Stop betraying your intuition to keep temporary company. As Buddhist teachings remind us, self-respect is a form of spiritual practice. Choosing yourself, not in ego but in truth, is the beginning of real freedom. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Guard your peace like a temple, because it holds your future. Oh, you no longer need to earn anyone's acceptance. You already belong to yourself. And that's more than enough. You are not accidentally better off alone. You are better off alone. Because in that sacred space, your true strength is born. Don't fear solitude. Welcome it. Because in the silence, you'll finally hear the wisdom within.